Welcome to another episode of One Big Happy Business. Today, I'm very excited to have in the studio with me Mike Olson, who's the president of OrCon Industries. Mike's been a friend of mine, also a customer of Bright's for a number of years now. Really excited to have Mike in the studio with me today. He's the leader of an incredible family business here located in upstate New York. And we're going to hear a little bit more about his story today, have a great conversation about what it's like to be an entrepreneur, what it's like to be a family business leader, and just generally what it's like to grow a business in today's business climate. So, Mike, thanks. Appreciate you having your bright socks on today. They look incredible on you. Handsome. Very good. I need an OrCon set of socks, by the way. You have those yet? No. No. Okay. Well, that's next on the list of the marketing swag over there. Anyhow, Mike, why don't you start off? Tell us a little bit about OrCon. Incredible story, 1984. It's been around for a long time, but it's a much different business today than it was when it started, I think. So
Yeah, certainly.
tell the audience all about it. So
Well, first and foremost, thank you very much for having me on here. Appreciate it.
thanks for coming.
Humbled and honored, I suppose. Anyways, OrCon Industries is an industrial manufacturer of packaging products. So we provide packaging solutions, all custom solutions for heavy industrial business-to-business shipping. Crates, pallets, corrugated boxes, specialty foam fabrication, virtually anything that our customers dream up that they make, we keep safe from point A to point B. But it's all business-related stuff. Nothing is really going to be consumer. Nothing you're going to see on the shelf at Wegmans or Walmart or anything like that. You might see something at like a Home Depot or something like that. Some of our customers, like Liberty Pumps in Bergen, New York, is a big customer of ours. And they obviously produce some pumps and things like that, so we provide the packaging for those. You might find those at Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that, but other than that, it's primarily B2B stuff, medical devices, things of that nature. We started in '84. My father started the company, and if I can rewind a little bit from there.
Please.
My father started the company because he worked for my grandfather, who had a company, actually multiple companies that were publicly traded at one point in time, private, back to public, private, back to public, that did very similar things, more commodity-based back in the 50s, 60s. And my dad just at an early age knew that he wanted to go into that business. He knew he'd be a salesman. Tried his hand at teaching for a year. That didn't work out very well. And went to work for my grandfather and was their number one sales guy for the better part of his career. And as my grandfather was getting towards retirement, things change, hands change, businesses change. My grandfather was selling a portion of his piece, and my dad stayed working for the current entity at the time, and just he always wanted to be an entrepreneur. He always wanted to own his own.
Right.
And the opportunity arose where he could part ways with them and start OrCon. So he started in '84, and 100% of his customers came with him.
100%.
100%.
Wow.
So
That's
he-
incredible.
Yeah.
Must have had great relationships.
Yes,
If you had
absolutely.
a relationship guy with
100%.
right.
That's
I have never met your father, Bruce, but I would really love to meet him one day. And I think that'd be really cool.
absolutely.
Sounds a lot like my dad, relationship guy. Like
So
people meet him and think they've met him or known him for their entire lives, right? That's the type of guy. It sounds like in this
100%.
conversation, Chad.
100%. He old school. He'll look you in the eyes, shake your hand, and we made a deal. Great. That's the deal.
Love it.
None of this lawyer paperwork.
Yeah, I wish business was still like that, right?
100%.
All the time, right? It is sometimes, but
It is sometimes. Yeah. And so, he found himself with this huge customer base and nowhere to manufacture, nothing to do.
Right.
But again, that relationship piece, not only with his customers, but with vendors and suppliers,
Right.
they were able to support him. He basically was running it out of our house for a little bit, and then got an office space at the old county morgue in Monroe County, or the old city morgue.
I heard that.
Yeah. And I think it was Cascade Street.
Sure. Downtown.
Yeah.
Any ghosts? Like,
Not that I'm
anybody
aware
ever
of.
talk about any ghosts or anything
Not
like that? Sound like
Those aren't the stories he shares with
yeah.
me.
Okay. Okay. He doesn't want anybody to know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And had a manufacturing site out in Batavia. So when my dad started working for my grandfather, his territory was Buffalo and Rochester.
Okay.
And the bulk of his customers was split between the two. And so that's how we got to Batavia for manufacturing. Currently, we are headquartered in Leroy, New York, right off of the Thruway.
Don't call it Leroy.
No,
It's Leroy.
it's Leroy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, maybe it's Leroy.
I don't know. I probably should know. No, I think it's Leroy.
Um, and the reason we chose that is because the distance between Rochester and Buffalo, it's a little bit closer to Rochester, but not too far from Buffalo. And we are
Running off the throughway.
right off the thruway.
Really
Prime location.
great.
So that's where we always manufactured. The offices moved a couple of times before we built the building where we are now. We built that building in '89.
Okay. Big too. 160,000 square feet.
A little over 100,000. But between all of our buildings, because we own another building in the village of the
Right.
Leroy.
Yeah.
Leroy.
We'll get it right.
All right. Yeah. By the time
we're done. Yeah.
we own another building. That's where we house our wood shop, and so that's another 35,000 square feet.
That's great.
And then have a warehouse in the city. So we have roughly 200,000 square feet of space between everything.
How many employees, Mike?
We are currently at 85 ish with OrCon.
Yeah.
And as I grow the story here, we'll talk about.
Sorry, I have to do that. I should let.
That's okay. No, because I do the same thing.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm very inquisitive, Mike.
that's okay. You're questioning me. Yeah. I have spotlights on, and
I
everything.
am the Insdorf viewer.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
And so, I was 3 years old when my dad started the company.
Yeah.
So
Quick math for the audience. You can figure out how old this guy is. He's younger than me.
Yeah.
Better looking than me.
debatable.
Mm-hmm.
Debatable. Let's get back. Where was I? So he was 4, I was 3, just a twinkle in my mother's eye. Yeah. So we had the space at the old city morgue for where the offices were.
Yeah.
And my mom was actually one of the office staff, kind of keeping the books and answering phones and help my dad keep track of his appointments. Because as you know, sometimes as entrepreneurs, we're always on the go. And it's not always easy to keep track of things sometimes. You're always wanting to go, hey, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And in sales, that is the absolute driver right there is, I want to go out there and find the next one.
Yeah.
And so my mom was in the beginning stages there. And then as it just grew and grew, bringing on more and more people, my mom had a calling to be a school teacher. And so she left the business to, one, raise me. I'm the youngest of 3 boys. So we have a family of 5. And when my mom left to go pursue school teaching, that was her passion. And she spent 30 plus years as a school teacher in the Churchville district. I don't know if it was all at Churchville. I'm pretty sure it was. But it's more than 30 years teaching in general. And from there, they moved from an office to right on Marway Industrial Complex over in Gates by Tinseltown. And then in '89 is when they built the building in Leroy, New York now, and had the offices moved out there and everything. So it was all under one roof. And from '84 until probably about '88 or '86, there was some issues with when my dad left the company he was with, because 100% of his customers came with him. They weren't very happy with that. So my dad was convinced to put the business back together with that group.
Mm-hmm.
And again, when you're an entrepreneur and when you want to create your own thing, that's really hard to do. He gave up his baby that he just created a few years before. but he had to, and honestly, I mean, he might argue that that was the worst 5 years of his life. I would argue that it was probably the most instrumental that set him up for the rest of his career, because he spent the next 5 years figuring out how he could get it back.
Yeah.
And as fate would have it, as the Lord would bless, those 5 years came to an end, and the opportunity to get it back presented itself. So he bought it back in 91, and it's been owned solely by him and a few partners since then. All of his partners have since retired. And, you know, as we've grown, Rochester, New York, just not Rochester, New York, but New York in general, used to be a really good business-friendly climate. It's not. It's challenging nowadays. It's ever challenging. We used to have such big manufacturers here. I mean, at one point in time, you know, Rochester, New York was, you know, a powerhouse of manufacturing for the world.
Yeah.
You know, we've got Kodak and Xerox and Bausch and Lomb. You got these really, really big names, and it's really sad to say that, you know, Kodak and Xerox will most likely just be trade names at some point.
Right.
And it's sad to see that.
Were they really big parts of OrCon's business? Like really big?
They were huge. In the late 90s, early 2000s, they made up probably 85% of our revenue.
Just those two entities?
Just as those entities alone.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And what a story of resilience, right? I mean, you had to pivot.
100%. 100%. I mean, I'd say the good thing that happened as those started to deteriorate is, you know, they started selling off divisions that they had.
Right.
You know, Carestream Health exists because Kodak had to sell that portion off.
It's still a client, right?
And they're still a client of ours.
Yeah. It's incredible.
And you know, as manufacturing moved out of state, out of country, things like that, you know, just trying to maintain a good, solid customer base and diversify, right? The things you notice when you have 80% of your revenue or more in two areas, you only got a couple of eggs. If one breaks, you're in deep trouble.
That is true.
You know,
for sure. Yeah.
But as those businesses, I mean, look what Xerox did for a number of years. I mean, there is a lot of tool and die shops in our area now, a lot of metal fabricators as a result of that. And they were able to differentiate themselves as those entities started, you know, shrinking, if you will. And so, you know, we got heavily into the industrial space, and then had to start diversifying into this, I'll say, the more specialty side of packaging. A lot of it was just dunnage, you know, blocking, bracing things, you know, trying to educate everybody quickly on what packaging actually is. Is not always easy when we say specialty and stuff like that. There's a lot of different materials and mediums we use. We're not married to one.
Right.
And
that's a big differentiator for you, for OrCon, right? I mean, your ability to utilize different materials. I mean, to me, it just doesn't seem like people have the diversity of packaging specialties, like an understanding of how to do these things and work with these diverse materials, right?
Yes.
Either doing wood, or you're doing plastics, or you're doing foam or whatever, high density foam, but you're not doing all of it like OrCon does. I mean, it's really a differentiator, it looks like.
Correct. Yes. We have degreed engineers on staff that went to school for this stuff.
Yeah.
And we also have some engineers that, you know, go through the school of hard knocks that, you know, just learned it because of their working in that industry.
Right.
You know, I can hang my hat on the fact that I was an engineer for a number of years at OrCon just because I had the desire to learn it, you know, in my career while I was there. And it was just like, okay, let's figure it out. But packaging itself is all about time and distance, really. You want to slow something down to have it stop safely. You know, when you stop a car, it's the whole thing. When you watch the car crashes, when they're testing cars and what they do, they're just trying to see how they can slow things down.
Sure.
And that's what it is. But to us, you know, we're not married to any material. So the engineers look at the customer's product and determine from there what's going to be the best, what's going to work, what's not going to work. And it could be a marriage of multiple materials.
Right.
And most of our packaging solutions are made up of foam, corrugated, wood, metal.
They can use a multitude of different type of materials.
Yep.
For one sort of
For one product, for one product line or specification.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
That's cool.
And that definitely helps us, not just locally, but because of the speciality of the things we can produce, we can ship, across the country. We can ship, globally if necessary. It's not always easy. Shipping costs are very expensive. If you look at a lot of our products and our packages, they're very bulky, so they don't get a lot of them on a truck.
Right.
But the speciality of them allows us to alleviate some of that as we go. And we've made some acquisitions over the years, various other packaging manufacturers, crate people. We naturally grew into wooden crates. And it's kind of, we naturally grew into all of the various offerings we have based upon, you get into a customer and you solve a problem for them and they ask you, hey, can you solve this problem? And you're like, yes, I guess I can, or I'll figure it out.
That's a great problem to have.
Yeah.
By the way. Just,
Yeah.
they're looking at you as a valued partner, somebody who knows what the heck's going on, has produced a great product for them.
Yep.
And now they're coming to you and say, hey, Mike, team, can you produce this for us?
Yeah. Yeah, you establish yourself as like the resident expert, the thought leader.
Right. Yeah.
And that's how you just organically grow. We like to look at ourselves or think of ourselves as like the librarians of packaging, right? If you ask me the question, you ask me, can you do this? I may not have that answer right now, but I will tell you that I will go find out if I can do it or not. Right. And I'll come back and tell you yes or no.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee if I come back with a no, it's a no, but, these guys might be able to help you out.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're going to give them a solution.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. You're not going to leave them high and dry.
Right.
Right.
And again, that just continues that relationship piece of like, okay, well, they couldn't provide this solution, but they gave me the solution. So I'm going to come back to them.
That's great.
And one of the acquisitions we made in 2005 was a company called FiberCell Packaging. And they were getting into some trouble financially. They were our largest, we were their largest distributor. And we sold a lot of the product to Kodak. And if they went under, we'd have been in trouble with that. And so, again, my dad was able to negotiate a deal and put them under our roof. And so between OrCon and FiberCell, FiberCell has about 95 employees, same ownership. My role at FiberCell is limited to just kind of high-level oversight and financial advice, like reading the financials and stuff like that.
It's interesting that you've kept them separate.
Yes.
Very collaborative, sounds like.
Yeah, 100%.
Very collaborative.
100%.
But separate still.
Yeah.
From an entity perspective.
Yep. And I think the reason that business, when we acquired it, was already 50 years old.
Oh.
So it had already established itself.
Sure.
FiberCell, it makes a very specific product. I mean, it's molded pulp. The drink trays from McDonald's, but on steroids.
Yeah. Much bigger application.
Much bigger, heavier. The drink tray at McDonald's, you can do this. If we were to mold that same tray, you wouldn't be able to twist it.
I'm not a McDonald's guy, but I'm a Dunkin' Donuts guy, and I've used that trailer. Right. And you got to be really careful. You got to have one drink here, one drink there, and if you have a third drink, you're really in trouble because you don't have the thing balanced. 100%. And the next thing you know, you're on your way out the door.
Yeah.
And it's all over the
they're
floor.
They look nice.
They do look nice.
And they look like they'll work nice, but you're absolutely right. You got to position your hand in the right spot or else you're wearing them.
Better get it right.
Yeah.
Or you're in trouble.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that product, the reason, again, we kept it separate is just the nature of how that product works. We have no sales team. It sells itself. We're virtually sold out because it's one, the environmental push has been very helpful.
Sure.
But two, it's just the nature of that product we sell that nationally, internationally on a regular basis.
Where I see that application a lot, Mike, you're probably the one that's providing all this, is that I'm a wine guy. I love wine,
Yep.
And I, I have a few mailing lists here and there and get my, wine delivered from Napa or whatever. And there'll be 6 bottles in there and it's nice and packaged up and it's using that fiber cell, like, I don't know. That's the material, right?
So that's
Got to be you, right?
It's not us.
Yeah.
That is actually more of the drink tray material, but a little bit stiffer.
Okay.
If you're getting it from around here, you might be getting it from me, but I'm not making it.
Got you.
So, quick pulp 101, there's about 4 types of molded pulp. Type 1, which is the fiber cell stuff.
Everybody wants to know this. Pay attention right now.
Yeah, get your pens out.
Four types. Let's go.
I just got to hope I get it correct.
Yeah.
Exactly correct. Because it has changed over the years.
Yeah.
I always thought we used to be type 2 pulp, and we're now type 1 pulp. But type 1 pulp is slush molded, heavy wall, thick pulp.
Yeah.
Type 2 pulp is conventional, formed very similarly to fiber cell. You have a slurry of pulp and water, but it's at a very, very high speed. So fiber cell is a little bit slower because you need to build the density of the fibers up. And then the speed at which conventional pulp is produced, which is your Yankee Candle trays, your drink trays, your egg flats, those types of things, running really, really high volume, really, really fast. More newsprint than corrugated. So newsprint is going to be kind of grayish, like your backboard here. And corrugated is going to be more, obviously, we see brown boxes. You see brown boxes, and that's what corrugated is. Corrugated fibers are longer fibers. So they're stronger fibers when they dry. And then there is, I'll say maybe type 3 is the dry in the mold technology pulp, which is like the cell phone trays.
Gotcha.
Looks really, really beautiful on both sides.
Right.
If you look at your wine tray and you look at one side, it looks pretty nice, right? And then you flip it over and it's kind of like paper mache looking.
Exactly.
The type 3, the dry in the mold technology pulp is press fit and dried within maybe 30 to 60 seconds.
It's almost like injection molding for
pulp. Yeah.
I mean, it's really the same sort of concept, right?
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, the slurry process is the same for all type pulps. All you're doing is you're just taking corrugated boxes and newsprint and putting in a little, people would say a blender, but it's not really a blender. It's literally just water. And
it's all recycled stuff, right? I mean, so environmentally friendly, sustainable.
Yep. And
people gotta love that, right?
Yeah. Ours is made from 100% post-industrial waste because we don't have the means to separate out consumer waste from it. And consumer waste would be like a pizza box.
Right.
Pizza box is going to have grease and things on it that can really cause a problem.
Right.
And then type 4 pulp is basically any one of those 3 pulps with another secondary process done to it.
Gotcha.
So, quick little pulp 101.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Did you ever think you'd know that much about pulp?
No.
But you do.
But I do. And I'm glad I do.
He's an expert in pulp.
I'm very good. I'm glad.
He's a pulp expert.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool.
So,
So fiber cell, I mean, it's incredible business, right? Separate, 95 employees.
Yep. 2 locations, too.
2 locations.
Tennessee and New York.
Okay. Tennessee as well.
Yeah, so it's nice to get down there every once in a while.
Yeah, that's good.
The headquarters is in Portville, New York. If anybody's familiar with Portville, you blink and you're through it. It's a beautiful little town.
Kind of like Leroy?
Yep. Actually smaller.
Okay.
There's 2 things one thing that I know of Portville is Sprague's Turkey Farm and maple syrup.
Okay.
Fantastic, worth going always.
Okay.
But it's about 15.
Shout out to Sprague. Maybe they want to sponsor this episode.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they are probably 20 minutes from Olean, Bonaventure.
Oh, okay.
So, that's kind of how I give the idea of where it is, because if you say Portville, not a lot of people know. If you're familiar with Bradford, PA, it's about 10-15 minutes from Bradford.
Yeah, Bradford.
Okay.
That's cool.
And then the other location is in Cookeville, Tennessee, which is probably smack dab in the middle between Nashville and Knoxville.
Nice.
Which is always nice because you get to go down there and hang out in Nashville for a little while. Enjoy.
Do you go into Nashville typically and then drive over to Cookeville? Or?
Oh, yeah.
That's the spot to be, right?
You have to be in Nashville.
You have
to be going there. You don't just go for one visit. But Nashville's a fun town anyways. Yeah. There's live music everywhere.
Country music guy.
I am.
You look.
I am.
Is that your preferred genre of music?
Christian is probably my preferred genre now. Gospel, that stuff. Okay. But I grew up on Def Leppard, Guns N' Roses, those guys. And
38 Special.
Yep. And then I had my rap days.
Throw that out.
Then I had my rap days from, 17 to 18, 19, had, the system in my car, big bass and thumping.
Subwoofer in the back.
Yep. And then the one thing that did do to me, though, is it really gave me an appreciation for really good quality sound.
Yeah.
Really. Because, if you get that kind of bass in such a short or in such a small area, you need to make sure the rest of the speakers are really good and crisp.
Yeah. RJ's got a thing for really good, high quality sound. He makes us sound good.
Awesome. Good.
So, thanks, RJ.
But then I grew into country music, and it's kind of cliche and funny, but the first country song I heard that actually made me laugh and fall in love with it was a cliche one by Kenny Chesney. She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy.
Yeah. I think I might have seen you actually do some karaoke once. We probably shouldn't bring that up on the podcast, but you're pretty good at karaoke.
That's totally not
Yeah,
true.
and I think I've seen you do some pretty good karaoke.
My stage presence is good.
Okay.
I'm more of a, deep voice. Like I can do voiceovers for like book reading and stuff like that.
You do have a voice for radio, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna see that when this goes live.
Smooth
jazz. Yes, exactly. All right, let me do something. Let me switch. Let's switch it up a little bit. So, I wanna talk about Rochester for a second. We're gonna just go with me here, but one of the things that we're blessed with here in upstate New York is the Rochester Institute of Technology. And we, Bright, as a cybersecurity and managed security services firm, among other things, have been blessed with the fact that the Rochester Institute of Technology has an incredible information technology program as well as a cybersecurity program. And a lot of the people that we employ at Bright are RIT graduates. And I know that RIT has an incredible world-class engineering school, and that package engineering is really big there. So tell me about, your relationship with RIT and how you're feeding OrCon with, all these RIT grads, because that's, something that I think people don't realize, that RIT is an incredible institution.
Yeah.
Often referred to in the same level as MIT and Stanford and some of these other incredible engineering schools. So tell me about RIT and OrCon's relationship with RIT and those resources.
Well, you've done your homework.
Yeah.
So
that's what I get paid the big bucks.
This is true. This is true.
Exactly.
So yeah, to have these types of U of R and but RIT in particular.
Yeah, I don't want to. I'm not slighting U of R.
No. But we have awesome resources in our backyard, and to kind of piggyback off of what you said with RIT and what that's grown through over the years. They have one of the premier packaging science programs in the country. There's a couple others at Clemson and Virginia Tech. But the fact that we have one literally in our backyard, we fish from them.
Yeah.
Often, we have a very, very good relationship with them. Actually, one of my dad's business partners, since retired, was our senior engineer, and he was class number 1 from the RIT packaging science program.
No way.
Yeah. Back
great. Oh,
that's Rick. If Rick
60s,
70s, yeah, 70s-ish. And so yeah, he was class number 1 of the packaging science program, and that to have that in our backyard, we have not had an engineer in our building who hasn't worked for RIT ever. So we have a few engineers.
Yeah.
We have 2 right now.
Yeah.
One of them came from outside from another state.
Yep.
Currently have one from RIT.
Okay.
Have never had a point in time where we didn't have an engineer from RIT. And the benefit of that is, one, just the knowledge is right here. They don't have to go far,
Sure.
to look for a job. Packaging science may not be the, sexiest job on the planet.
That's right.
But they have a world-class testing facility as well. And so,
do you ever collaborate with them? I mean, do you ever?
For our package testing, we do.
You do? Okay.
We do. We have over the years, gotten interns and things like that from a collaboration standpoint, co-ops and stuff. But we primarily just collaborate on package testing. So package testing can be very simple. Like we can do some of that at OrCon, a certified ISTA International Safe Transit Authority. We have a small facility. I do like 150 pounds and certify that and stamp it that it's good to go. But we produce products that can keep this mug safe. We can produce products to keep this mic safe, or a crate as large as this room, or a machine as large as this room.
Right.
I can't test something.
An engine, an aircraft engine,
sure,
or something, right?
Absolutely,
because you have applications for stuff like that, right?
Yes.
Amazing.
And case in point, perfect. You ever go get your blood drawn?
Of course, absolutely.
Your blood.
It's one of the things I hate. I hate needles. I'm not a needles guy. I just look away. Yeah, no, I can't. It's just that. Oh, I just do not like needles.
Neither is Randy. I always find it funny. I always find it interesting. Anyways, there's a probably greater than 95% chance that the blood the machine that tested your blood was packaged in my packaging to keep it safe.
Gotcha.
To get to the lab that it needed to go at.
Gotcha.
Because of CareStream locally, or not CareStream, Ortho Clinical Diagnostics.
Yeah, they're a big clinic.
They're Quidel Ortho now, I think is what they are. And Siemens Healthcare was a big account.
Healthcare is one of your big verticals. Right?
Yes.
I mean, you guys do a lot in healthcare.
Yes, very much. Right. And getting back to the RIT piece, the blood machines that test your blood have a lot of very sensitive equipment inside of them, optics, circuit boards and stuff like that. And they are half the size of this room. And in order for us to test something like that, we can't do that. So we partner with RIT. RIT has the ability to simulate a train, traveling on a train, the ability to simulate when a train stops.
No way.
So you think about a train, how many cars are on the length of a train, and every time when the train stops, this car goes boom,
and the next
one, boom, and it progressively continues. So there's a lot of vibration testing, a lot of shock testing, things that we just can't do, and to have that at RIT, which is 25 minutes max, maybe from my door, allows us to react quicker to our customers. If they require a testing to get this certified so we can start producing it for them, get them out on the road, we're not shipping something off to another state to get it taken care of.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, it really is.
Big benefit.
And we just are starting to entertain some collaboration with RIT on not just the packaging science side of things, but their I can't remember exactly the title of the team that they have, but the team will come into manufacturers for a semester and try to help optimize whatever you want, whether it's manufacturing layout, whether it's design changes to equipment, processes internally, or things like that. They've got a really cool program for that.
Like a capstone project or something.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. There's a team of people that'll come in and you can choose. They kind of give you these guidelines of how to manage it, but they're coming from a technological background.
That's cool.
Which is really, really cool.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great. Very cool. Very cool. I'm gonna throw this out there. I wanna go back to mom for a second. You mentioned mom.
Yeah.
And I saw you get a little emotional when you started talking about mom.
Yeah.
What I've found as an entrepreneur is that it's tough. I've owned and operated this company for 26 years, and it's certainly not easy. And I'm proud to say that I've been married to my wife, Stacy, for I think it'll be 29 years. 29 years in June. And, I know that support is very, very important. And I know you have an incredible support at home, and Randy, who we keep talking about here, has been mentioned a couple of times, has worked for me here at Bright for over 20 years. She's an incredible woman, and is married to Mike. And I know she's very supportive of you and your efforts at OrCon. But go back to mom for a second, right? And do you remember growing up and mom supporting dad, and the different things. You were, of course, very young, but he was going through some pretty tough times there, it sounded like, right?
Yeah.
That I didn't know about that story before, but it's pretty incredible. And they always talk about, and I don't want this to sound sexist or anything, but behind every great man is a great woman. That's been something that's been said for many, many years. And sounds like Mom was pretty involved in Bruce Olson's journey.
100%.
Yeah.
I may have been little when he first started it,
Sure.
but I was getting older as he was going through it.
Sure.
My mom was, I would say, even if she wasn't working there,
Yeah.
she was instrumental in its success, its growth, and its longevity.
Yeah.
My dad working late nights, being out on the road, going to, lots of times he was out of state, making sales calls and things like that. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm the youngest of 3 boys. And so my mom having to jockey and manage 3 kids, take care of those kinds of things back at home, and still have my dad come home, and try to manage and help manage the house. It was very evident how much effort my mom had to do. May not have been business related, but it allowed my dad to do the things that he needed to go do for the family. And during a lot of those times, I didn't know we were financially struggling.
Sure.
Actually, I joke about this because my parents were just here these past couple weeks, for Christmas, and we've got a newborn at home. And one of the things we had growing up when we were kids that I thought was like the greatest dinner on the planet was Spam and mac and cheese.
Nice.
Yeah. So we had
Spam and mac and cheese.
And the reason why it was the best for me was we got to put brown sugar on a dinner product because we'd put brown sugar on Spam.
Ooh, yeah.
And so we made Spam and mac and cheese last week.
No, you did.
Reminisce
That's
about.
amazing.
And
who made it? Did Mom make it, or did you make it? Okay.
No, that was my mom.
Yeah.
So my mom was, always.
No, it's this time around.
Oh, no, that time around my dad.
Oh, okay.
So that was the other neat thing that has transpired over the years is, growing up, my mom was the keeper of the house.
Yeah.
100%.
Sure.
All while she was also working.
Yeah.
She was school teaching, but she was the keeper of the house. She was the cook, the whole 9 yards. I mean, when my dad cooked when I was growing up, it probably didn't start until I was in my, sophomore year of high school when my dad took over kind of cooking duties.
Yes.
He always loved cooking. It was always, when he would cook when we were younger, it was always a Friday or Saturday night, and it was steak.
Yeah.
We were having steak.
Yeah. Steak's a good dad.
Steak's a good dad thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But my mom,
you can mess up on the grill, but it's a little harder.
It's a little harder.
Yeah.
You got to pay attention.
For sure. Yeah.
So, my mom just was the keeper of everything, the schedules from, 3 boys playing sports. My dad has since, I would assume he's recognized, obviously, the hard work and effort that went in. He didn't just recognize it, by the way. I'm significantly older, but he took over cooking duties and he fell in love with it.
Nice.
And I think he grew and gained an appreciation for the effort that my mom had to put in behind the scenes to deal with the stress that my dad would have every day.
Yeah. That's not something I'm good at, Bruce. Congratulations. I've never been able to master that. Stacy doesn't let me cook.
Cooking is, it's his new passion, that and RVing, but, just getting back to my mom, just, I guess I can't say I've experienced it other than I grew up watching my mom make sacrifice after sacrifice, just like my dad was making them, but my mom was making them in different ways.
Right.
And allowing my dad to go do what he wanted to do. And in the beginning, they were coworkers,
right?
For a little while, and navigating that dynamic. I don't know if I could ever work with Randy or not.
Yeah.
But just my mom's support of the things that my dad was doing, the decisions he was making. When he started the company, they sold their house, doubled their mortgage by breaking ground on a new house, and then started his business.
Yeah.
All at the same time.
Yeah, I know.
It's like,
It's unbelievable, like you and I have similar stories in terms of that, right? Entrepreneurial father, um, and entrepreneurial moms,
yeah,
I mean, really, at the end of the
yeah,
day, they're taking the risk every single day with dad.
yep,
And it's really, really cool. I mean, moms are special. I mean, moms are special. And it's really cool to hear that story.
yeah,
And also to see you get emotional over it a
yeah.
little bit, I mean, it's really, really cool. Uh, Mom proud of you today? She's got to be so proud of you.
I think so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I'm sure she's so proud.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would say she's proud
Yeah.
of me.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking my parents. I don't ever
Yeah.
remember them being like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you," or
Yeah.
anything like
Yeah.
that, except for
Oh,
like except for a sporting thing like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I can definitely look back and see like
Sure.
I have kids from 14 years old all the way down to 3 weeks old right now. And I
You run the gamut.
yeah, I run the
You do the run the gamut.
but I can see the things that like when I'm looking at my 14-year-old or my 12-year-old and I'm really proud of something they did. I may not say it,
Yeah.
but you show it.
Yeah.
And when I think back on the times when I was, in my teens or early 20s or even starting working at OrCon, I can see the times where my mom was probably sitting back proud.
Good.
I can.
I'm sure she's incredibly proud of you.
Yeah.
Incredibly proud of you and your brothers. Okay, let's segue a little bit into when you started working at OrCon.
All right.
So, as a youngster and witnessing all of this and stuff like that, I mean, did you always want to work at OrCon? You
Yeah.
always want to be part of a family business?
No,
Yeah.
actually, I never really gave it any thought.
Right. So
Uh,
how did it happen?
the only thing I knew I wanted to do, we, I bought the house I grew up in from my parents, and we are surrounded by cornfields. And so when I was younger, my older brothers got to work early. They got to work on a farm when they were, 12 and 13 years
Sure.
old, right? Because
Yeah.
you could do that as a farm labor. Well, the farms sold out to larger farms and they weren't neighbors anymore.
Gotcha.
Right when I wanted to go to work.
That's right.
So I didn't get to work. I've always had
On the
this-
farm.
Yeah, on the
Down
farm.
on the farm.
Or just work. Like I have this desire to just work. I
Yeah,
wanna work.
sure.
I love working with my hands, which is a little bit of a challenge, obviously, as an entrepreneur of a manufacturing business. As you know, we sit behind computers a lot of times or sit in front of meetings. But
Because you have great people.
yes,
We'll talk about that a little bit.
yeah. So I've always wanted to work, and when I saw my brothers working, I was like, oh man, this is great. But then the farms left. The farms are still there, but
Right.
and so I was just asking my dad, can I work at OrCon? Can I work at OrCon? I'm like 12 years old. He's like, no, you're not old enough. It's a manufacturer. You're not
That's
going to
right.
be able to.
If you're gonna lose a finger, kid.
Right. So finally, I turned 15, and I knew I could work at that point. I can get working papers, and I could work. And I was just, Dad, can I work? He's like, I don't know if legally you can because it's manufacturing. And I was like, I did the research. I found out that yes, Dad, I can work, but
There you go.
I can't work on any of the industrial equipment.
That's right.
I can push a broom.
That's right.
And so summer times, starting from when I was 15, I worked on the manufacturing floor with my brothers because they were old enough to work out there. And just was working, pushing a broom. Within the first couple hours of my first day on employment, I was working on the assembly lines and stuff like that. So
That's just the boy in you, man. I gotta get involved in the machinery.
yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, always had the work ethic to just want to work and do something. Never thought when I was there during the summers that, this was my gig. This is what I want to do when I grow up. I graduated high school in 2000 and, went off to Fredonia for a year. Just start taking general classes, maybe some business classes, just random stuff. And did a year under my belt, really not knowing really if this is what I want to do or not. And went back sophomore year, and halfway through my first semester sophomore year, I was like, no,
This isn't for me.
no, not right now. I need to take a hard reset. And so I left college, went home, and immediately just went into working on the production floor. And I had 2 jobs at that time. I was working at OrCon during the day and Hot Shots indoor beach volleyball in the yep.
Were you a setter?
No, I was a hitter. Yeah, hitter. Yeah, I was a hitter. I don't have soft hands. No, I can't set. And all knowing, like, you know, you can always look back on your life and things you may do differently.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I definitely have a lot of those things, especially around my schooling and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Business just came super natural to me, super, super easy. I didn't need to go to college for it, but I did.
Yeah.
Did very well. I didn't have to study too hard in any of my business classes just because I understood all the concepts. I understood what we were talking about. But, you know, it was that era of, you know, needing to prove that if, you know, you need to get a degree. Whatever you want to do, get a degree.
Yep.
So I started going part-time to Brockport and just getting rid of all of the general classes you have to take, math and all these things. And then I could really focus in on what I wanted to do. And I was living at home. You know, I started taking business classes, and every day I'd come home. My dad would come home. My brothers were already out of the house at that point, and just talking shop, you know,
Sure.
talking about various things.
Applying what you had learned.
Basically
heard in the classroom.
Yeah, and trying to see how classroom could
Translated
apply into the real world.
Yeah.
You know,
Because it doesn't always.
It doesn't. No, I would say more topics
Gotcha.
do. But you know, a relationship's not in the textbook.
No.
You know, that's not there. That you either have it or you don't.
Textbooks don't prepare you for the unforeseen things that happen too.
Yeah. They don't prepare you for people.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
I think it gets you exposed to people.
Yes.
Education. I think one of the greatest things about higher education is that when you go off to college, whatever college that might be, right, you get exposed to different people. And that really helps you figure out how you, as a person, because you're very, you know, you've got your personality and you got your ways about you, right? You figure out how I'm going to interact with people who are different.
Yeah.
That is, I think, a big part of going to college.
Yeah.
A big part of education, right, is learning to deal with people, because you don't learn that in the textbooks there.
No,
But you learn it from, you know, being in the classroom and in the social settings
and the group projects.
The group projects.
Very when you get towards your senior year, where you're really diving into like almost those capstone projects we talk about.
Correct. I think you're so right.
The interpersonal dynamics of groups.
That's a great point. Very much so.
So I was, you know, going to school, just talking, and then finally it was like, all right, well, business is the road I'm going. Let's fill up my schedule. I was still working there. And even while I was there, I did not ask my dad for a job. I wasn't like, yeah, this is what I wanted to do. Maybe he subliminally knew this is what he was going to do, because we were just talking business all the time, and I was curious. So after graduation, I graduated in May of 2005, and we were out to dinner, and my dad handed me an envelope that said OrCon on the top of it, and I opened it up, and it was a offer letter for an entry-level sales guy making $35,000 a year. And I was like,
where do I sign?
Okay, you know, this isn't a struggle, I guess. So let's give it a try.
That's right.
And so started, I think it was July, you know, maybe a month, 2 months later.
2005.
2005.
Yeah.
I just started cutting
20
my teeth.
years. 20 years.
Yeah.
20 years.
Yeah. 20 years. That's
20
a long
years.
time. That's crazy.
Say it with me. 20 years.
20 years. It's wild.
It is wild.
It is wild.
How fast did it go? I'm 26 years here, right?
Yeah,
it just seems like it was yesterday. Yesterday. And here we are.
It happens like that.
It does, right?
It really, really, really does. And
why do you think that is?
A couple of things. From a personal standpoint, kids.
Yeah.
It's just,
yeah.
If anybody wants to know how fast time goes, have a kid.
Yeah, that's true.
But to just get it back to business, for me, it was just you just start falling in love with what you're doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's grinds. You know, you go through seasons where it's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here, and all that. But it's always the end game. And when you're enjoying what you're doing, it just disappears.
It does,
you know, and you start to look forward to tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know,
For sure.
you're in the middle of a project, you're working on something, and knowing either you have a deadline or you don't. Sometimes it's a self-imposed deadline. A lot of times in our positions now, they're self-imposed because they need to be. But when you're solving customers' problems or things like that, and you're, you know, up against, time constraints or anything like that, it's like you finish and you feel so good about what you've done. You're like, hey, what's the next one I can tackle? Where can I go now? And the snowball effect just takes over, and you just start, the days just disappear. And then, for me, I started as an entry-level sales guy and successful, did well. It was very difficult. It was very challenging. I was listening to my dad's stories when he was selling in the 70s. He could literally go to a business park and walk in the door and someone would say hi to him.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist.
That doesn't happen anymore, does it?
If
Lots of
and
gatekeepers.
there's a lot
Doors
of
are locked.
gatekeepers, and I will say right now on camera, looking in, for those that want to potentially sell me something at OrCon, if you show up to my door for a cold call without calling, I will see you if I have the time.
There you go.
I will, because
I am so old school like that too. I pick up the phone
yeah.
all the time. I listen. These guys are cool. Call me,
Mhm.
and I listen. And I love hearing the different tactics and the different approaches because I've done so many of them in my career, and I have such a soft spot in my heart. And we obviously have people that are doing that every day here, bright. But I just love it. And then I finally like, hey, listen, thank you so much. Appreciate you doing a great job. You're going to be super successful, or maybe not.
Yeah.
But I always tell them they're going to be super successful.
Yeah.
No reason to put somebody down. But anyway,
Yeah.
the point is that, hey, you're going to be great. Keep it up. It's a grind. Been there, done that. But, I'm not buying today.
Yeah, exactly. But you're at least giving him feedback, or
Right. That's
I
important.
jokingly with my dad, because he would always ask me, how'd your day go, and stuff like that. And in the beginning, I was going through the industrial lists, right? I would build like today I'm going to spend the day making phone calls because, the day before all I was doing was driving around,
Knocking on doors.
getting the door, not even slammed in my face because nobody's slamming the doors. But I would be like, all right, today I'm going to call. And OrCon's voicemail system at the time, when you pick up the phone and you want to hear your messages, right?
Yeah.
It's like, press 3 to delete,
Yeah.
pound to confirm.
Yeah.
Right. And so my dad was like, how'd it go today? I was like, I was a 3-pounder today, Dad.
Yeah.
Because I just called and I didn't get anybody on the phone because they wouldn't pick up.
Right.
And so my 3-pounder was most likely, hey, Dad, I'm just leaving voicemails and they're going to delete them. They're going to 3-pound me. And so that, I'll say that resiliency, like, again, that's again, going back to the entrepreneurial spirit, or to build something, not necessarily for yourself, but for yourself and for your family and for your community. I don't care how many 3-pounders I get.
Yeah.
Because the next one's going to pick up.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't build the next one,
Right.
some people can get discouraged by that. And there were times where I was discouraged by it,
Of course.
but you just keep going through that. And so I spent probably my first 4 or 5 years as a salesman, got myself relatively successful. I was the only salesman that ever came and started at OrCon that did not have a book of business and had no accounts.
Total
So
organic growth.
Started from scratch.
It's great.
I love selling. My weak point, though, is I will say the background organizational of that, because I'm so excited to get out to see another customer and another sales guy. It's like, hey, what about that opportunity that you just got? You got to remember to stay on top of that
Opportunity.
And I was just the low guy on the totem pole, so I didn't have anybody to help me manage that stuff.
Sure.
And so I knew that wasn't really I knew I didn't want to keep doing that. The money was good, but I just knew that's not where I wanted to go. And I think my dad recognized that. And at that point, like I was home. I knew I was going to stay at OrCon for as long as I could stay at OrCon.
Yeah.
If that meant my dad was going to turn the reins over to me, great. If it wasn't, then I'll deal with that at the time if my dad wanted to sell the company.
Yeah.
But I just knew within a few years that this was going to be my home. And so I think he recognized that, again, just our conversations, but I started looking at it, and maybe some of the conversations we had, he would give me more information than he would other employees. Obviously, one, because family, right?
Sure.
You know, there's a vested interest in family and stuff like that. But I think he was also poking me and, you know, prodding me for like what I saw in the organization. And, you know, being in sales, you have to deal with customer service, you have to deal with purchasing, you have to deal with estimating, engineering, the whole 9 yards. And so what I started seeing was, you know, bottlenecks or operational issues that were in my way or in a salesman's way to get to the next step, to keep moving. And so my brain shifted to be very operational. He moved me into some couple of different areas within the company. I learned how to estimate, you know, I learned how
Big part of your business, right? I mean, you got to get that right.
Yeah. And that's, even today, that's still one of our, I'll say, our weak points. You know, if I'm being vulnerable here, is because of the specialty nature of what we do, it's very difficult to give the Amazon price or the, like, you know, if, hey, can I get that by this afternoon? No, this is some high level engineering.
Sure.
You know, and so our ability to quick turn quotes is a little bit of a downfall right now. And it's, I call it, because we don't estimate, we actuate. So when we build these estimates in our system, they are built to a point that if the order comes in, we just move that over and it's done. The planning, the routing, how it goes through our shop is already done. And when I give that estimate, I'm going to be within 1 to 2% when it goes to production right out the gate. Which maybe that's time savings in the long run, but, you know, is there a way to give the price to the customer where there's a little bit more of a leeway until then we fine tooth it when the order comes in? So I started seeing those things, and engineering was also a bottleneck. Like I said, I didn't go to RIT, but I did go to the School of Hard Knocks. While I worked there, we had 3 RIT engineers.
And we were learning from them.
I learned from them, you know, and they essentially gave me the manual for the design software that we use, and they said, go ahead and go. I was like, all right, cool. So I started playing around with that. Then I was in charge of our wood products division for about 3 years. I was in charge from start to finish, the P&L, everything with that.
Get out there with a hammer.
I was at times, absolutely. And that was the piece that I really loved, because
of course, you love working with hands.
Get my hands dirty.
I know, yeah.
I get my hands dirty doing that. So, you know, unbeknownst to me, I'm just looking at areas of the business that were struggling and that needed more dedicated hands-on oversight. My dad was probably looking at it as like just training.
You know, training. It's getting you exposure to every aspect of the business, right? Like, there's a method to his madness.
I mean, I literally have sat and worked in every position at OrCon, from customers, from sweeping a broom on the production floor, all the way up to the top. And, you know, I'm not above any one of those. If I have to go back onto the production floor and clean up, I'm out on the production floor cleaning up. If, you know, there's been times where we're on the weekends, we've got big customer demands, and you know, I'll be out there if I have to.
Absolutely.
And it was just a natural progression, I guess, when I can sit here and look back on it. You know, what my dad was noticing, as you said, getting the exposure or training. I looked at it as training. I look at it as training now. Because when I sit in the role I am now, is I'm managing all of those areas and all the people that are in those areas. And so to be able to say, I know what you're going through, or, you know, I've been there. I'm not just giving it lip service. I've been there. So we can work together to try to find the solution to whatever issues they're fighting and they're going through. So it's been a 20-year vapor trail, honestly. You know, and to say 20 years is
crazy, right?
Kind of crazy and scary at the same time.
It's crazy. Let me switch gears a little bit with you and talk about, you know, you're here now, 20 years, right? You're here, you're running this organization. You've got 85 employees. What's the best part about running an organization. Like I get to see a lot, I follow you on LinkedIn and, social media, and I see all the work on stuff, and I can see, you spend a lot of time on culture and you have a lot of fun with your employees and stuff like that. Um, what's the best part? What's the best part about being the president of OrCon?
The people. I mean, I don't want to sound cliche, but that's the most fun. It's the most challenging and most rewarding at the same time. Like people don't always think about it, but you more likely than not spend more time with your coworkers than you do your own family sometimes.
Yeah.
And so they become family. Like you need them to become family.
Right.
There's a line you obviously you got to walk towards and personal with them, but genuinely care about everybody that works there. And it's not like I'm holier than thou or anything like that. I hate saying work for me. Like, these people work for me.
Yeah.
We just work together.
Yeah.
For a common cause, and that's for our customer.
Right.
Right. So at the end of the day, we work for them.
Right.
And we get to do it together, and let's have fun doing it together.
Yeah.
And we have employees that are lifers, that worked with me when I was 15 years old on the production floor. They're now my operations managers, my senior estimators of quality, my shipping managers. My shipping managers, I think, on her 33rd year.
No way.
Yeah. My customer service managers, maybe on her 31st. She started when she was 18.
Yeah.
My production manager is 29 out here.
That's right.
And all these people started from the ground floor.
Right.
And you get to know them real well.
Yeah. Not just them, but their families too.
Yeah. We do a lot of fun things throughout the year, for just our employees, but we also do like company picnics. We do a big Christmas party at the Batavia Downs at the end of the year where they get to bring their significant other, but the company picnic in the middle of the year in the summertime is their whole family and stuff like that. And you get to know them on a personal level, beyond just, hey, the water cooler talk,
Right.
or the coffee talk kind of thing.
Right.
And you cry with them, you laugh with them,
Yeah.
Whether it's personal or business. And I enjoy seeing people excel and grow.
Right.
I like to see them solve a problem and, get that aha moment. And that aha moment sometimes takes them to the next level in what they were working on or what they were doing. That's fun to do. Other things, I love wins. As anybody, we get a new account or sales, things like that. Those are fun, but
Fun to celebrate those.
yeah, absolutely.
But that's sort of expected, right? You're going to grow the business. You gotta get to wins, right?
You have to have
But
those.
the personal things are kind of cool. I this morning, I had somebody, let me know that they're expecting,
That's awesome.
and that I just known this individual for a long time, and I just started crying. And she's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I'm just so happy for you guys. This is so unexpected. I mean, you've made my day." I mean, it's just, I don't think everybody realizes that part of the joy of owning and operating and leading a business, right? Those little things mean so much. It's hard for people to understand that, I think.
Yeah.
If they sit there and see you and I sit here in the, in the chair, and it's like, they don't realize how much that means to us, I think.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
It
Not that we need them to. It's
no, but business owners might get bad raps often.
Yeah.
And it's, well, sometimes it's deserved.
Yeah. Definitely deserving of many things.
Yeah, yeah. But the entrepreneurial spirit is always to create something. And when you create something, there's going to be people that are going to have to come along with you in order for you to achieve what you see your dream to be.
That's right.
Right. And did you imagine 26 years ago, Bright was going to go from 14, 15, 16 people to what it is now?
Yeah.
You know?
No.
Right.
No.
But it did.
No.
But it did. And you know, to say to my dad, did he think, I mean, behind closed doors, you want that, right? You want to be successful. And what does success look like? It looks like just supporting and you know, it's to me, it's incredibly humbling when I pull into a parking lot and there's all these cars. Yeah. Because those are cars for people inside, but they are responsible in taking care of their families back home. I know. And you know, from my standpoint, again, because I'm married to one of your employees, I can assure you that I can see the truth and testimony of how you care about your people. And when my wife told you that she was pregnant with Cole for the first time, you know, that level of joy and excitement was felt from my standpoint. So,
well, that's for sure. I had a crying moment over that one. Cole, and Reese for sure. Our newborn. Yeah, I had those moments. That's the best part of it. I mean, it's, you know, seeing your family grow, my family, seeing your family grow, and then all of the families grow around you. It's just one of the joys of being an entrepreneur and owning a business. You know, it's something that's very special. Yeah, very special indeed. Brothers in the business?
They are not. I have two older brothers.
Yeah.
Let's see. My oldest brother, we're all about 2.5 years apart in age, but my older two brothers were only 2 years apart in school. My middle brother and I were 4 years apart in school. And all went and did their own things. They you know, my oldest brother is, I don't even know. He's like a physicist or an optical engineering physicist. He works
NASA,
kind of, yeah. He works locally for L3 Harris.
Okay, so he is NASA.
Yeah, and he works in the space systems division. So he works on the team. He leads teams that build satellites, basically. He's rocket science. Yeah, he's like a rocket science. Don't tell him that. You know, his head will just get even bigger than it is. But no, he'll always jokingly send a message to my brother and I every once in a while. He's like, I touched something that's going to space, ... without a glove, you know, because he's always got to go to these clean rooms and stuff.
Clean rooms,
you know, and if NASA or anybody's listening, it's not true. He just likes to, you know, joke.
Say stuff like he's joking as
and then it's kind of interesting. So my middle brother, finance grad, understands spreadsheets and numbers very, very well. Super successful. My oldest brother lives locally here. My middle brother lives in Bethesda, Maryland.
Okay.
And he, very successful, maybe for a competitor of Bright, but like REI, you ever heard of them?
No.
I don't know.
No. We have a lot of them. Like, it's hard to keep track.
Yeah, I know.
We try not to worry about them too much. We're trying to focus on what we're doing.
No, I think, and I think their world is primarily government.
Gotcha.
So he's the CFO for them.
Great.
And I didn't really know what my brother did until recently. We're working on my dad and I are working on a project where we've had to bring him in, and it's like, wow, that's what you do? Holy cow.
Yeah.
You know, he really understands the things that we're working on right now.
That's good.
But they never showed any interest in it that I'm aware of. You know, I don't know if they ever had a conversation with my dad. They never did any of that. They went on their own way. They're encouraging to me, obviously, that I'm in the family business, and you know, so there's never been a dynamic of like, you know, oh well, Mike got this or anything like that. They went their own paths and enjoy what they're doing, and I went my path and enjoy what I'm doing. They, you know, cheer me on just as much as I cheer them on in their careers and stuff like that.
That's great.
There's no jealousy or anything like that. It's probably made, I mean, I have nothing to compare it to, you know, maybe I could ask you what it's like having a sibling, in the business.
Sure.
Because I don't have that. So I don't know if there's any jealousy or rivalry or anything like that. I've never ever felt that.
Yeah.
It's basically just been my dad and I.
Yeah.
But it's probably just been me for the last 7, 8 years, when my dad
Yeah.
named me president in 2017 and then kind of, I'll say hung up his daily hat and put on his more mentorial hat. If I just make up a word right there, I don't know.
Sounded official to me.
Yeah,
I'm going with it.
Yes, let's run it.
I love it. Yeah.
So,
That's good.
but yeah, what's that like with for you?
I mean, it's been incredible. I mean, bought this business in 1999 with my father and my brother Trevor, who's my business partner today. Joined a few years later, and together he and I have built this business together for the last 24 plus years, and it's been incredible. I mean, I'm the older brother. It's a younger brother. We have a younger sister. She's not involved in the business at all. But it's been great. It's actually been one of the joys of running this business together with him. I would tell you that I give him all the credit in the world for making it work. Because it's on at the end of the day, there's got to be somebody ultimately in charge.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, he's, great like this. He's just ultimately, you're the decision maker, Justin. You got to make the final stamp. We're very collaborative. We talk about all this stuff all the time. It's not like, I've ever made something without a decision without running it by him. But ultimately, he's like, hey, you got to make the decision.
Yeah.
And, most of them have been very collaborative, but he's been great. He's really the one that's probably made it work the most. If the roles were reversed, I don't know if I could have done it. But we've always had that sort of relationship since we've been little.
Yeah.
We were always close, and that's continued into adulthood, and certainly continued through our partnership at Bright. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's certainly been a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, I don't, I can't say if I wish for that to have happened or anything like that, because I just don't know what that would be like.
Right.
But I can easily see that, like, in a good business leader or good, business owner, even watching my dad, right? My dad owned the company.
Yeah.
He had partners.
Yep.
They were minority owners, but it was very rare where I felt or even saw my dad say, I'm making this decision solely on my own decision.
Right.
Like it
just doesn't happen.
It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And a good business leader or just a good manager,
Right.
is going to make a decision based upon the preponderance of the information they have.
Right.
And I've always tried to empower my employees that, to make the decision on their own. And if it's the wrong decision and we find out it's the wrong decision and they bring the evidence to me of why they chose the path they chose or made the decision they made, I might make the same decision.
Right.
Or we may be able to dissect it and learn and grow from it.
Right.
So whether that's family or not, it's just.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. So, you have 85 people that work with you, right? Not for you, but with you. I have 120 something people that work with me. It's crazy. Like every day, it seems like we have a new face. Don't we have a new face, Alice? It's fantastic. It's so cool. But I think one of the most important things is hiring great people and then just letting them do their thing, right? And figuring out a way. This is sort of the trick, I think. It's not trick, but this is the secret sauce, is figuring out how to empower people and truly letting them be empowered. Like I find all the time, my guys on the other side of the cameras here will say it all the time, like they're very talented. They have the ability to do incredible things, right? But they still at some point in time want validation, right? So you need to try and give them the validation, but also enable them to kind of go out and do these things. And we have a saying here, do not fear failure, fear never getting a chance to fail. But it's really up to me, right, to like let that happen, right?
Yeah.
Not that we fail, but so talk to me about the people that you've surrounded yourself with. 'Cause I've been very blessed with great people. Talk to me about those people and how you've enabled this culture that is going out and, helping to grow OrCon and
Sure.
take it to the next level, right?
Sure. So for me, I mean, it was all, again, very organic, right? The I didn't necessarily have to work hard to earn their trust, because I had already been working with a lot of them for a longer time.
Sure.
And some of them, may have, saw the writing on the wall, if you will, that they may have looked at it and like, yeah, he's going to be my boss someday,
Yeah.
you know? Um, but I never look at it like that. And the team around me was, I'll say, the groundwork was laid by my father and his team, right? And the systems that they put in place. And right when I was starting to take over, most of them had retired. And so it was my team to try to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
And during that process, that was where a lot of the promotion came from, some of those individuals that we've got, lifers, the 29, 30-year employees. I knew their strengths. I knew what they did. I worked with them when I was young, and then I worked with them when I was younger, 2 decades ago in the beginning. And then during, and
Keep getting on that 20. You keep talking about 20.
I know. And there's we all work very well together. We're all trying to accomplish the same thing, and that's to solve the customer's issues, whatever they are.
So you're driven to one common goal. You've established
They all
common goal.
understand that at the end of the day, the problem is the customer needs this by an X date, right? And so we all surround ourselves with ways to, how do we get that done,
Right.
and sometimes that's where you butt heads, because you got differing departments on how they do their job or what they need to get done. And the team around me came from within, so they understand all of the workings of the business. I don't have to spend a whole lot of time, educating them on how to handle this situation or anything like that, because they've lived it, they experience it. It's more me trying to figure out now how to remove obstacles so that they can do that, so that they can then go solve the problem, because we find obstacles all the time.
Right.
There is good and bad to that, from an organic internal growth is, I have to do a good job in my role of getting external knowledge from guys like yourself or other business leaders so that I don't do this, because
It's easy to do.
it's super easy to do.
Yeah,
Super easy to do.
For sure.
And, you have to be able to step outside as a business owner. You have to be able to step outside your business and look at it from here.
Right.
And
Because you can learn a lot from other people outside of your business. Right?
100%.
Right.
And once you get to a level in management or business, it doesn't matter whether Bright does IT stuff and I manufacture things. We still deal with the same issues. Getting my employees to take these off is harder for me, because it's all they know.
Mm-hmm.
They've been there for 30 years.
Sure.
So that's a fun challenge for me, because that's where I see a lot of aha moments for them. Could I go out and hire somebody else to come in and take certain roles? Maybe. But then I got a whole new dynamic to go through and do.
Right.
But it's, I wouldn't be able to do the things I do at OrCon or in my life without the people that I have surrounding me. So good. Yeah.
I've got one more. I've got one more question.
Okay.
And it's sort of a multi-layered question, and it happens to be around work-life balance and faith. And I know you're a man of deep faith. And I'd like you to talk to, tell me and the audience a little bit about, how you've integrated faith and have, built work-life balance into running and operating OrCon? Because I think that's something that hardworking individuals, you're a very hardworking individual. You're driven to succeed and to continue to grow OrCon and make sure that you continue on the success that, you know, it's had. Tell me a little bit about how you've been balancing this stuff, because I watch you, I look at you, and you've done a really good job, in my opinion, or, sitting over here in this seat, but I think you've done a really good job of that, and I'm also I admire how you've intertwined faith into that.
Um, I mean, for me, I guess it starts with my faith. I didn't grow up in a overly religious family. We went to church occasionally, then in sports took over. We became like the Creaster type of people. Um, I didn't really, I'll say, find God until probably 2011-ish, 2012, 13, around that time frame. So I was already, 8 years into my career at OrCon. And to me, when you find the Lord, that's all you want to seek. And then he has to become the first relationship you care about most over anything, whether it's your business, your wife, anything. It's you got to go to the well, right? He's the well. And so you have to bring him into your life, not just he's over here, right? He has to become Lord of all of my life. And when I became president, all I would ever pray and ask him was just, guide me today. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never been in this position before. I think a lot of us have imposter syndrome. When we get into the chair that we sit in, it's like, I don't feel that I even deserve to be sitting here talking to you. And it's the things we wrestle inside. And, I got to bring that to him all the time. And there was, I commit my business to him. So any and all glory and growth is because of him. And, in my early days, I would literally in the summertime walk around OrCon, the building, and just be praying for the people, for the business, for their families. And it helps me grow in my faith, just seeing that and seeing his faithfulness as long as I can be faithful to him, and seeing that we're growing right now. And, that's all I ask for, is if we grow according to his desires and his will. And it's allowed me to, I'm stressed, but I don't have to be totally stressed because it's in his hands. And so what I mean is, like, getting to that, the work-life balance piece of it. I have 4 kids now. I have a beautiful wife, and I have
Who you met?
whom I met
because
of my faith.
right?
We met serving at
Mesa.
our downtown life center.
That's right.
And being able to turn off is not easy in business. But I'm able to be more present when I need to be present, because then I can turn it on at other times when I'm not around the kids or anything like that. And, there's lots of late nights, there's early mornings, things of that nature. But, the business being in the position that it is, again, is totally because of his will for me, I guess. And again, putting the people in place that allow me to maybe step back a little more from the business to go spend, if I leave the office a little early because I'm going to go pick up my kid to go take him to a soccer game. I love work. I love what we do. I love my employees. But I love my kids. I love my family. And I love God, and he's the only one that has allowed me to do the things that I can do.
Yeah.
So I don't.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's really incredible. I mean, there's so much more to that story, and I appreciate you sharing that. It's not easy running a business,
No.
and it's always good to have, you know, somebody to help you through that.
Absolutely.
And I think, my experience, um, knowing you, it's been a big part of why you're successful, to have that partner
Yeah.
with you at all times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I share him.
Yeah.
I share him. My employees, I mean, I minister to my employees. If my door is always open,
Sure.
if you're going through a hard time, I'm willing to talk.
Right.
I had started a Bible study at church or at my office
Right.
during breaks for some employees that wanted to just not sit outside and, kill the 15-minute break they have. We would come in and have guided scripture and stuff like that. So,
And it's low pressure. It's whoever ever wants.
exactly. You want to come in? You want to come in? Cool.
It's your thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely. I am not.
That's cool. Yeah. You're not in your face about it. It's
Nope. Yeah, somebody wants to talk
But
about
I
it.
know it's so important to you, and I wanted to make sure that we talked about it today on this podcast. And I cannot thank you enough for coming on here and sharing some of these stories. I mean, you and I could probably sit here for another 3 or 4 hours and have conversations about so many other things. There's maybe we'll have to do this again, like episodes or, redo.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah,
Something because there's so many other questions we could dive into here, but
maybe episode 20.
maybe episode 20,
Right?
20 years,
20,
200,
I don't 200,
200, the two.
anything.
But thank you so much, Mike. It's been an absolute pleasure having you into the podcast studio today, and
For sure.
I know everybody's going to enjoy this episode of One Big Happy Business. See you next time.